Morning Bell, the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Connor Rogers joining you for what is one of our favorite episodes of the entire year, folks. The NFL Combine is in the books. Well, not quite. I mean, peer back the curtain. They're still running the running backs right now. But as you are listening to this, the Combine is in the books. So it is time for a brand new mock draft. And because we love you guys so much and because we have heard the cries of the people, we're extending it beyond round one. We are giving you a 2-round post-combine mock draft here on this episode. Connor, are you ready for the journey, my friend?
I am. We've been excited about this one for a long time. Obviously, we're back from Indy. 90% of the testing is done.
Yep.
As we're sitting here, like you said, we're going to get numbers as well to wrap this thing up. And we get to go to the second round today. And just it's such a better exercise that way because it allows you to paint a much bigger picture rather than, you make a pick for a team and someone's like, well, how could they do that? They have no tackle or they have no receiver. And it's like, well, we could do that in round 2 or we could show where the value lies. So it's time to get deeper into the draft. Let everyone else have the surface level. Let everyone else argue about the 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10. This is the way we like to do our content.
I mean, we are still going to argue about the quarterbacks going in the top 10.
We'll still do it.
Today is where we put our draft expertise to the test, where we can't just have the cop out and be like, they can fix that later in the draft. Now we actually have to be the ones to fix it. Maybe we'll even give you guys a 3-rounder before the end of April rolls around, but we'll extend it to 2 rounds today. Connor, do you want to do odds or evens? I didn't ask you before the podcast, and this one's going to be all Jets pick 13, Bucks pick 19. So,
no.
So whoever gets the odds.
Well, that reminds me.
Yes.
And when we do it, I'll shout out the person because I don't want to open up my messenger right now of who came up with the idea because I have the combine on my phone. But somebody messaged me and you will get the proper shout out. And their idea was, in the future, can you do an episode that you mock draft for the Jets and Trevor mock drafts for the Bucks? And I was like, how about we flip it? So there will be a show, I think, where you mock draft for the Jets and I mock draft for the Bucks. And then we get each other's reactions. I just had to get that in there. I would like to do... If it's cool with you, I'd actually like to do the odds.
Okay.
Not to pick for the Jets and Bucks. That's a nice bonus, I guess. Although I actually don't usually like having that scenario personally.
Mm-hmm.
There's something I really want to discuss. A couple things I really want to discuss in the top 10. And I think you and I are going to figure out a trade here at number 1, right?
Yeah, we're going to. And you also, I wanted to give you the honors of picking either odds or evens because you've been telling me that you got some nuggets. Obviously, I do as well. Just listening to people in Indianapolis, hearing which guys could be really on the rise this week, some stocks that were up even before some of the podiums and the testing. And obviously, we've got the head coaches and the general managers who are hanging out around Indianapolis in the early parts of the week. So I wanted to give you this because I wanted to see if there was a batch of teams that you could bring up, maybe some of the things that you have heard, because that's what this podcast is all about too.
I couldn't really make out, perfectly with this. There's a couple evens I'll chime in on, but the odds will work out. The odds will work out. I was distracted. I was listening to you, but I was distracted as Devon A. Chain was running his 40.
What did he run?
It was an unofficial 4.34, which is amazing. Obviously.
Oh, come on. It's trash.
But I was I was kind of disappointed. I was like, man, I was hoping for like a 4.25. But so I had to catch that. Now I don't care for the rest of them.
The official, that we're just gonna pencil in. That's 3 points for Trev because I had Devon A. Chain in the combine draft, which we will recap later this week. But that is for another episode. Buddy, you're picking for number 1 overall. It's the Chicago Bears sitting there at number 1 overall. And I gotta say this. I felt like the quarterbacks all handled this combine week very, very well.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, we knew he was athletic, but historically athletic is something totally different. Will Levis, loved his interview session. I'm sure he interviewed great with a lot of teams. He's very personable. The ball was just firing off his wrist when he was throwing at the combine. Bryce Young, not being historically small, even though we know he probably won't play above 200 for weight, not being historically small was definitely to his advantage. And then CJ Stroud, man, I mean, did he miss a throw? I mean, did he miss a single throw out there on the field? Unbelievable. So love these guys at the podium, love what they were able to do on the field. And I say all that to say the price of number 1 just went up, man. I know what you could say. Oh, well, if all the QBs did well, then maybe these guys are going to settle. They ain't going to settle. I don't think they're going to settle. I think these teams, whether it's the Panthers, the Raiders, the Titans, the Falcons, whoever it's going to be, they're going to have their eyes on a quarterback out of this group that they really want, and they're not going to want to get beat out for him. So what are your thoughts right now with number 1 overall? Are you still targeting the Colts? I didn't even mention the Colts, but are you still targeting the Colts? Maybe the Texans? Where are you going with this one?
Honestly, I'm a little bit more open-minded to even going all the way down to 9. If I can just get a massive, massive haul. I think the Panthers are in on coming up. I would think the Colts are in on coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's in such a fascinating spot at what they do at 2. So the door is wide open. If I'm the Bears, if I can get just an insane amount of quantity with a team like Carolina, I'm okay. But if I can go to 4, I feel really, really good about the type of player I can get there as well. So I would say the door is pretty wide open. It would just depend on what is the gap in price. If Carolina's willing to give what? 9, next year's 1,
at least,
and a 2.
Yeah.
That's the trade I'd want. You would think with Indy 4-1. I mean, you're flipping, and
Indy's probably going to want to get out of it with number 4 and then not another first round pick.
That's what I think. Did they go 2 2s?
They would probably have to go 2-2. Ultimately, I do feel like because of the bidding war that's going to happen for number 1 overall, I feel as though Indy's going to have to give up this year's 1 and next year's 1 to get it done. I really do think that they're probably going to
That was my original thought.
But
that was my original thought.
Can I throw something out there at you?
Please. This is the time to do it.
Do you think Houston will be interested in moving from 2 to 1?
Yes, you have to be.
So if you believe that they are interested in doing that, if you are the Bears, what about trading down twice? What about going from 1 to 2, from 1 to 2, getting what you can out of Houston, maybe recouping just that early second round pick that you lost from the Chase Claypool trade?
Yep.
Maybe you recoup that early second round pick just with the Texans to move from 1 to 2, and then you can still move down from 2 to 4 or 9 and get even more hauls that way with more picks, and perhaps you could even move more picks to next year's class. So I don't know, man. What do you?
I love it.
I thought about that. A couple of people have actually messaged us that over the last 24 hours or so. A couple of people, at least on Instagram, have done that with me. But I was thinking about the idea a little bit earlier this week as well, and bringing it all into, I guess, a practical proposal. What do you think about that?
I'm in on it, and I think I know my route I want to go.
Okay, so
you have control of 2. Would you flip for the Texans' second round pick this year?
I think you have to, right? I think there's Texans fans out there who might say, no, that's too rich. You're moving up 1 spot. You're giving up an early second round pick. It's essentially a late first rounder. That might be too much. But you got to remember this for everybody out there who might be arguing that. They're not just bidding for the distance between 2 to 1. They're bidding against the Colts. They're bidding against the Raiders. They're bidding against the Panthers. They're bidding against the Titans. They're bidding against the Falcons, maybe. So I think you do have to give up that early second rounder. And you already have 12. So
that's what helps.
So let's just say, let's go 33-2 for number 1.
Yep.
Okay.
And for those arguing this, there will be a format for that. I don't think this is necessarily it. We're trying to get close in this spot. And I really think that's close. Because the alternative could be the quarterback you love could go to your division rival in Indy when they jump you. Keep that in mind.
Very good point.
There's
very astute observation, my good man.
Word. Astute's a good word.
Okay,
all right, so we're going to go.
Yep. Are you picking at 1 now, or am I picking?
We'll keep the teams. So you will get the number 1 overall pick with Houston. Okay. I will operate as Chicago and see what I can come up with out of that 2 spot.
I'm still going Bryce Young. Bryce Young's still my guy.
Good lad.
Look, he's going to, even if you told me Bryce Young's going to play at 190, whatever, fine. I don't care. Again, we talked about this plenty, the middle part of the week. We've talked about it since. Bryce Young's combine weight measurement did not really matter unless he was going to be terribly historic on the bad side of things. He's not, even though his play weight's going to be lower, is the best player in college football over the last 2 years. I'm still taking Bryce Young number 1 overall. So I'm going Bryce to start this out to the Houston Texans.
No argument from me. I've done some radio this weekend, and you always get the question, and I say,
wow, brag.
Yeah, sick. You never get to sleep. That's all I wanted to do. But everybody, I appreciate everybody that has me on. We have fun. And I say the same thing. I still think it's Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's number 1 overall. The question to me, and this could change, by the way, Keaton Mitchell with a 4.38.
Ooh.
That was my my swapperoo. So I gave you a sweat there. You were going to win it.
Because Keaton Mitchell, I think, finished second in the broad and second in the vert. So I was like, all right, young man's explosive.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we've said it before, Trevor did let me swap my guys that don't do anything. And more of my guys didn't do anything. Even some of my substitutes didn't do anything. But Keaton Mitchell was my running back swap for the 40 and did decide to run. So thank you for at least trying, Keaton Mitchell. And he gave us a, an injection of energy. So yeah, Bryce Young goes 1 to the Texans.
Yep.
Bears are back on the clock. That's my team here, even though I'm picking odds.
Yep.
And Trevor, I am trying to trade yet again.
Okay. And
boy, do I have the perfect partner. I gotta answer that call with Carolina. And I think, man, I've been on this one for a little bit, but the price of the brick changed. If I'm Carolina, I want CJ Stroud on my football team.
Okay.
That's what I want. I'm comfortable going up.
Okay.
Even though I'm picking for Carolina, Trevor, I would like you to operate as Scott Fitterer for the trade capital conversation here. So I'm not maddening this thing and trading with myself. So let's say I'm at 2 if I'm Chicago. I will give Carolina 2. I will go back to 9, but I also need their 2024 first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's look, if Carolina might be screwing themselves a little bit here if this scenario actually comes out this way, or anybody really, because at first you're going to be calling Chicago for number 1 overall, and I think the price is going to be higher, right? Carolina might be in a situation where they're opting to give a first round pick this year, a first round pick next year, and then like shoot 1 or 2 picks to move up from 9 up to number 1. So maybe they're screwing themselves over because the price is high, and maybe Chicago's like, all right, same trade. And they're like, whoa, not the same trade because one quarterback's off the board. But it's going to be an interesting back and forth. I think if you knock either the 1 or the 2 additional picks outside of the first rounders off, that is probably where you come to an agreement. So how about a sweetener?
So since it's the flip of 2 to 9 if I'm Chicago, but I'm getting the 2024 first rounder, I think Carolina is in position to win that division. Chicago is not even close in my eyes. I will send back pick 134 that once belonged to the Chiefs. So Carolina gets 2 and 134. Chicago gets 9 and next year's first. I know it's not crazy, but it's still a pick in the top 150 that could be a contributor this year.
My only counter to that would be this. The Rams valued Brian Burns at 2 first-round picks. So why don't we just send Brian Burns over to the Chicago Bears and we'll just call it even?
Done. Oh, my God. It'll never get old.
No, okay. So I think that's good. 9 and next year's first for number 2 and 134 this year. Yep. I like it.
Okay. We are going to force that trade.
Force the trade.
Although the simulator told me very likely to be accepted with a full green bar.
It's so obviously look, we're using PFF's mock draft simulator, and I love this tool. I really do. Trade values are so difficult to quantify, especially like year to year. I would say it's just so different every year. The situation, the context means so much. So I think that we are ballparking this in the right area. You've got the Carolina Panthers then at number 2, and you're taking CJ Stroud.
I'm taking CJ Stroud. Great week for CJ Stroud. Great year for CJ Stroud. Boy, for Stroud developing under Reich, McCown, that staff. The offensive line is on the come up. DJ Moore is going to be 1,000-yard guy again. I love everything about this fit. It's remarkable. I hope it happens for both parties involved. And good for Chicago. You have a war chest of draft assets to use to rebuild your defense and help Justin Fields.
Ryan Poles, depending on who they get to pick at number 9, could be just the most liked man in the Chicago area. That puts the Arizona Cardinals up at number 3. This one's pretty easy for me. I think I talked about
that
this.
That would be me, partner.
Oh, it is. Because 3, Trev, when you really think about it, when you put it to paper, when you actually, devote some brain power to it, 3 is an odd number. You
check the math, you do the science. It's an odd number.
Okay.
It comes after an even number. It comes before an even number.
Yes.
It's odd.
Yes. So, I forgot about that an even number was on either side of it. That's the part that I totally forgot, but.
So, all right, let me set a reminder here before I get, destroyed.
Yes.
This mock draft is an effort a lot of the time to think what teams are trying to do.
Correct.
I left Indy thinking Arizona in this scenario, quarterback, them on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I left Indy thinking there's a real chance they take Tyree Wilson at 3. I really did.
Ooh.
Obviously, I don't rank it that way. There's a lot to be figured out with Jalen Carter over these next 2 months, and I'm sure they'll be figured out. I think Will Anderson is the better prospect than Tyree Wilson, but I think Tyree Wilson's a really, really good player with an unbelievable ceiling. And I left Indy thinking that Arizona there's a lot more debate to this pick than people would think. A lot of people would go, well, if Jalen Carter's, having issues, it's Will Anderson. And I think it could be Tyree Wilson. So I will go Tyree Wilson at 3, the first defensive player off the board.
Wow, man. I obviously, my thoughts. I'm not nearly as bullish on Tyree Wilson personally as like my own personal scouting as I am with Will Anderson.
You, me, the NFL.
Correct. Yes.
Seriously.
Correct. No, clearly the league likes to. I liken this. They're not the same player. I'm not saying that they are. This isn't a comp. But I think you and I have talked about this before on this show. Tyree Wilson is getting the Trayvon Walker type of treatment where you look at the tape, you look at how much potential he has, you look at what's actually been the production that we've seen over the last couple of years, and the NFL takes Trayvon Walker number 1 overall. And it just it feels as though, we got to the point doing mock drafts last year where even though you and I liked Trayvon Walker, but I think I had him outside of my top 5 edges, or he ended up being number 5 for the edges for me. Like there just came a point to where when you're doing a predictive mock, if you didn't have Trayvon at number 1, it was wrong. Like there's no point in being stubborn about it. So, man, I also heard this week that Tyree Wilson could potentially be the first defender off the board. Now, I don't know how much smoke that is, but hey, we're doing an exercise and we're researching what it might look like if that is the case. So, number 4, Connor.
You're on the clock, I promise.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I wanted to double check with you there. Our guy is still here.
I think I know where you're going, but there's a funny aspect to this.
Our guy is still here for months now. We have a year. We have been declaring that Will Levis is a Colt. He's on the board, and I'm not picking him.
I had a feeling.
I'm picking Anthony Richardson. I'm picking Anthony Richardson.
Can't argue.
I understand people out there might be screaming at the car, at their AirPods, at their computer speakers, wherever you guys are listening to this show. And they might say, what are you doing? We didn't learn anything from the combine. We already knew that Anthony Richardson was going to be athletic. I do think it's different. I think it's different when all 32 NFL GMs and head coaches watch this guy in person, stand next to this guy in person, interview this guy in person. And I think that makes it a lot harder to not try to take a chance on him. So for the Colts, you have mentioned so many times, time and time again, Ballard's a traits guy. A lot of the quarterbacks that he has tried to go after have been these big time traits guy. I think that's where he's going to look again in this draft. And if you are comparing Will Levis's traits versus Anthony Richardson's traits, Richardson has him beat out for as great of an arm as Levis has.
Sure.
And if you look at both of these quarterbacks, accuracy and decision-making concerns are both there for them. You are going to have to improve both of these guys and their consistency. So if you're going to do that with the one that might have the higher overall ceiling, one of the highest ceilings we have ever seen at the quarterback position. So I'm going to go with Richardson here at number 4.
Hard to disagree for me. There's no perfect comp playing right now in the league for Anthony Richardson. I know guys that have played, people look at Cam. I saw some Dante Culpepper. It's a tough player to come up with. But if you're looking for somebody in the league that you think, okay, that could be the best of Anthony Richardson, I think it's Josh Allen.
Yes.
And they're not the same, but right? Like that's even the weaknesses. Like Josh Allen's a great player. He still makes mistakes. He's still reckless.
Led the league in turnover-worthy plays this year. Led the league.
Yeah. And he's reckless, where a lot of times that works out amazing for him. And sometimes it doesn't. And I think Richardson could be that kind of player. Ballard loved Josh Allen that year. But when everybody didn't love Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Ballard it goes back to the process of traits and development and ceiling out of that position. So 5 is the Seahawks in a situation that I really think this can happen. The Seahawks are sitting here at 5. They haven't moved. They're picking because of the Russell Wilson trade in this spot. And Jalen Carter and Will Anderson are staring them in the face.
How many mocks have we done where neither of them were on the board?
I would say every single one.
Yeah, at least 95% of the mock drafts that we've done, neither of them have been on the board. And here we are. The Jalen Carter news comes out last week. Who knows how that's going to affect his stock? You end up taking Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson, but man, you saying it out loud like that has me shook. So what are you doing?
It's Jalen Carter, and they are a franchise that has no fear of taking guys with question marks because they are talented. And this is how Pete Carroll and John Schneider have operated. They've done it for a long time, and they have a need, an interior defensive line. They do. They have. If you look at their pass rush stable, it's been overblown about them. They need help there. But what is Boye Mafe going to look like in year 2, right? They had guys take steps this year. So I go with Jalen Carter and go, your defensive line just changed entirely. The whole thing just changed entirely. So Seattle, they're willing to take that risk, and it could pay off with a unique player that's an all-pro.
Man, there's a way that I could make this next selection that makes the next 2 selections very easy.
Yeah.
I could pick Christian Gonzalez here at number 6, who I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be CB1 off the board this year.
And the Lions are in on the top of the corner market. All I heard all week was the top of the corner market for teams right now is Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. Depending who you ask, Witherspoon, Porter, and then Banks, Cam Smith, they're really good, man. All those guys. But Gonzalez, then there's teams that just love the flavor of Witherspoon, that brash, sticky guy.
Right.
And Porter Jr. is in there somewhere. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that in there for the Lions.
Lions have a major corner need. And again, if I go Christian Gonzalez here, not to make the pick for you, but I would assume the next 2 picks after this would be Will Levis to the Raiders. It's easy. And then Will Anderson to the Falcons at 8. Will Anderson lasting until number 8 to the Falcons seems insane.
Yeah, I don't love that. But things happen.
But ultimately, I can't. The Lions need corner, but this cornerback class is so good. All due respect to James Houston, the Lions would be taking Will Anderson here.
Trevor, they pick at 18.
Right, I know. And they're going to have another opportunity to get a corner.
A good one.
So as much as Christian Gonzalez would make for an easy mock draft over the next couple of picks, if Will Anderson's there at 6, the Lions are picking Will Anderson. They're picking Will Anderson.
It'd be hard not to.
So Anderson at 6 to the Lions.
People are going to look at this mock. Say we just took the screenshot right now. Bryce Young, Stroud, Tyree Wilson, Anthony Richardson, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson. They're going to be like, what? I think things have changed a lot because of the quarterbacks.
Yes, indeed.
This is fun. We haven't had this path yet.
I know.
Now, seven's actually a lot harder than you would think. I am going to go Levis. I will be honest.
Okay.
The Raiders are a team that have done a ton of work into Devin Witherspoon. A ton. The Raiders understand that they are a borderline piss poor defense on the back end. And they need that attitude. They need a difference maker. Max Crosby, amazing player. They have some talent up there, but they need a leader in the secondary. And I know that I think they view Witherspoon that way, but they need a franchise quarterback. And if Levis fell to 7, they didn't have to move to get him. I do think that's the route they can go. We've heard everything out there with the Raiders, from Jimmy G to Mac Jones to all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
Until the pro market passes us by, this is going to be a popular destination for Will Levis, and rightly so.
No, I agree. The Jimmy G stuff obviously is what we've heard a lot of lately. But even if you sign Jimmy G, what are they signing Jimmy G to? A 2-year deal? You know,
and he plays 7 games this year.
Well, all right.
Honestly,
well, I hear you. I hear you though. We certainly we're not wishing
Murphy's
the guy
Law
gets hurt, but
like,
guy's been hurt. Guy's been banged up. Just kind of is what it is. So like, even if they sign Jimmy G, drafting Will Levis would actually make that an advantageous situation, because then he could sit.
That's good building of a quarterback room is what that is.
So you're taking Levis at 7, Falcons at 8. Again, if Will Anderson would have been left on the board, he'd be a target for him. I think it's just insane, even with the quarterback frenzy at the top, to think that Anderson would last until 8. Crazy things happen in the NFL draft all the time, but that just shouldn't be. So had to have him go at number 6. 8. Or early on in the week, of course, we put out a YouTube short that you guys can see. I was trying to maybe read between the lines a little bit with Terry Fontenot saying how much he loved nickel corners, how much he loved guys from Georgia, and Brian Branch, a guy from Georgia who plays nickel very, very well. I don't think Brian Branch tested enough to where it really tempts you to take him at number 8. Still a phenomenal football player. I don't want to take that away from him, but I feel like this is Christian Gonzalez, right? I feel like this is the area in which Christian Gonzalez would be on one side, AJ Terrell is on the other. You've got an incredible cornerback duo, and there's just not, maybe Lucas Van Ness, but there's not really a pass rusher that tempts me here more than them getting Christian Gonzalez. So yeah, I think that's where I would go. Maybe you spend a little bit of extra money in free agency, try to attack some veteran pass rushers that might be hitting the market in free agency, and then you spend that number 8 pick on something in the secondary. So I'm gonna go Christian Gonzalez at 8.
That's where I would have gone as well, and that brings me back to Chicago at 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this is a bad scenario for them. I really don't.
All the O-linemen on the board.
All the O-linemen are on the board. If that's a route they want to go, they can take any wide receiver of their choosing at 9.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? This is.
He's struggling, folks.
No, I know what I want to do.
He's overwhelmed.
I know what I should do.
He's fighting.
I am overwhelmed.
He's fighting between his heart and his head.
Yeah, I am. Okay, then I'll lay it out.
Okay, please.
My head tells me to take Devin Witherspoon because he's the best defensive player on the board by a pretty wide margin here. My heart tells me to take Jackson Smith and Jigba. Because all that matters is the development of your quarterback. You have 9,000 picks now in these next 2 years. Oh, man.
I will say they did go corner safety in the second round last year.
I know.
And obviously they've got Jalen Johnson too.
My thing for the Bears is in this spot, and this is a good outline of why there's risk trading back to 9. They need help in the front 7. I don't love taking any of the front 7 players left in the top 10 here. I don't. There's things I like about Miles Murphy and Lucas Van Ness.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you want to have Smith and Jigba on the board, I was wondering if you were going to decide between wide receiver and O-line, because they have their pick of the litter, like with Broderick Johnson or Paris Johnson Jr. or Peter Skoronski.
I think ultimately, if you're not going to take Witherspoon because you like your secondary,
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I would love to take Jackson Smith and Jigba, I still would be surprised if they took a wide receiver in the top 10.
Well, especially with these extra picks, right?
That's the difference. The first tackle off the board for me then goes to the Bears, and it's not Peter Skoronski. It's Paris Johnson Jr.
All right, that's fair. It's fair.
I mean, this dude came in to the combine, and the measurements are just out of this world. Out of this world. His arms are 36th and an 8th.
Him and DeJuan Jones got like the longest offensive tackle duo arm length we've ever seen.
6'6" and 3/8, 313 pounds. I mean, he's built in a lab as an offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And that's huge for Justin Fields. And hey, Justin Fields knows him pretty well. Like there's no even relationship building in that area. So the Bears, Witherspoon was on the table. Jackson Smith and Jigba was on the table. I ultimately go with the premium position of tackle and get Paris Johnson.
I think that's smart, especially because, again, we talked about how deep of a cornerback class is. If they want corners, they got extra second round ammo now to be able to hit that. If they want wide receiver, they got extra second round ammo to be able to hit that.
Exactly. Pick 33.
Right. I think you came to the right conclusion there at 9. Eagles at 10. Couldn't sprint this bad boy in any faster.
Oh, man. Yeah,
Devon Witherspoon sitting here at number 10. And he often is in mock draft scenarios, right?
Sometimes this is always kind of it.
Yeah. Go to number 6 with the Lions. Sometimes he goes to number 8 with the Falcons. But if he is there at number 10, he feels like their guy. If they let James Bradbury walk, certainly this is a pre-free agency mock draft. If they let James Bradbury walk, you got Darius Slay on one side, Devon Witherspoon on the other. I mean, if Devon Witherspoon is your CB2, you got a hell of a CB duo, whoever you are, no matter what team. So I'm going to go with Witherspoon here at number 10. The Eagles aren't afraid of drafting those shorter cornerbacks. They're letting those feisty, really talented shorter corners play. And so it just feels like it's the perfect spot for him. So Witherspoon at 10 to the Eagles. That was pretty easy.
So the Titans, it's two simple things for me here. It's just a matter of if they think Peter Skoronski can play tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they take Broderick Jones. And
man, Jones tested well.
Yeah, he's a freak show. He really is. This is tough, man. There are going to be teams that full transparency, I don't know the Titans thresholds. I mean, Rand Carthen's been there for what, like 3 weeks? I don't know their thresholds. So talent-wise or pro readiness tells me Skoronski. A guy that will check every box for every offensive line coach and staff is Broderick Jones because of that arm length. I'll go with Skoronski here. Okay. I wouldn't be floored if this changes at some point, or it could change.
All right, so that was a good debate there because and it's funny that you said that. I probably would have went with Broderick Jones, even though I love Skoronski. But I think it is up in the air. I think it's a coin flip. So you're going with the guy who, I mean, let's face it, I think has the better tape. He just doesn't have the arm length, doesn't have the overall athleticism. So actually, Skoronski tested decently well, didn't he?
Skoronski, there's this weird thing where people think Skoronski is not athletic, and I don't understand.
Let's see. Skoronski, where are we at here?
He had the second highest broad jump.
His second highest broad jump, 5.16 40-yard dash. It's fine. What was the 10-yard split? What we get out of the box? 1.75. It's right where you want.
He has an 8.89 RAS.
Oh, great.
Shout out at MathBomb. Kent does such a good job posting those cards. Indeed. Here's where Skoronski was at, Trevor. Yeah, you had the 5.18 on official, 10-yard 1.75. Vert was 34.5. That's a phenomenal metric. And the broad, 9.7. So good. He tested really well.
Good football player. Certified.
Yep.
Certified stamp. Houston Texans on the clock here at number 12. Remember, we had them trading up from number 2 to number 1, but they didn't have to give up number 12. We have them taking Bryce Young at number 1. I am having them go to the wide receiver well. I'm not really thinking twice about this one. Quentin Johnston is my guy. I had Quentin Johnston as wide receiver 2 after Jordan Addison going into the week. Addison is smaller than I thought and did not test as well as I thought he was going to. Still a great route runner. Still a good wide receiver. Quentin Johnston's the guy that you bet on 100%. He's got the size. He's got the athleticism. I really do believe that he was held back by quarterback play this past year. All due respect to Max Duggan. But I think Quentin Johnston's going to be a better pro. I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 in Houston. So we're going wide receiver here. We're getting the top guy to choose from in this year's class.
So Bryce Young and Quentin Johnston, the new pair for the Houston Texans. The Jets at 13. You know where we're going here. Broderick Jones. This is really, if the Titans took Broderick, the Jets take Skoronski. The Jets, realistically, at 13 are looking at whatever of the 3 top offensive linemen are left. And in that scenario, it's Broderick Jones. Incredible athlete. Funny, Trevor, he came in bigger than his Georgia listing. How often do you see that?
Ooh, you never see that.
No, you never see that. I think he's actually taller. So he runs the fastest 40 out of O-line, 4.97. The Jets are obsessed with athleticism on their offensive line. ABT was like a 9.99 RAS. Becton was a freak at his size. He jumped pretty well. I want to find his size. Okay, so he came in at 6'5" and 3/8. He was listed at 6'4". And he had a 9.39 RAS as it stands. So Broderick Jones, great athlete, and Jets need help there. So no brainer.
Are you locking in on him being the Jets pick? I feel like you are. I feel like we've gravitated that way.
Yeah.
That he could be a Jet.
It's like just playing the game of which one of the 3 are there, and that's who they take.
That's fair. That's fair too. Patriots at number 14. They'd love to give them.
I should drop in. I am not convinced the Jets are trading that pick for Aaron Rodgers, by the way.
What, the first round of this year?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Lord,
okay.
No.
I see it like every time people.
No.
I think the Jets really want Aaron Rodgers. I'm convinced they will do everything possible to make sure that pick is not in the trade because they want it to take an offensive lineman to protect him. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
okay.
Also, who's like if a first round pick's getting dealt, it's not this year's from the Jets. I'd be floored if it was this year's from the Jets. Because there's way too much money that you still have to pay Rodgers, even if you work something out with Green Bay where you're splitting some of it.
Well, he picks where he goes.
Yeah, and if you're getting the deal done before the draft, that means that you can't do. If you're getting the deal done before this year's draft, in order for it to include this year's first round pick, you can't make the trade post June 1. Therefore, like the money is like horrible for the Green Bay Packers. Horrible for the Packers if they do that on the cap.
Yeah.
At least if I remember that correctly. So I think if there's any premium pick, first, second round pick that's getting dealt for Rodgers, it's next year's anyways. I don't think the Packers are getting this pick, even if Rodgers is on the Jets. So that's a good note to bring up. But yeah, Patriots sitting here at number 14. They also need an offensive tackle. I think I'm going to give them one.
Oh,
I think. Lucas Van Ness on the board, though.
Who are you going to take a tackle?
Anton Harrison.
Okay. I haven't seen him in the first round yet.
Which would be early. I
think so. This is a tough board.
See, the Patriots are a team that you could think about them trading up. Or they could do the vintage Bill Belichick and trade back.
Or I look at Joey Porter here.
Let me look at the depth chart.
Oh, I mean, okay. Their corner right now locked into contract is Jalen Mills.
Stud.
Jonathan Jones is a free agent.
Lockdown.
They have Jack Jones, of course, who was really good as a rookie. McCourty's a free agent. That's Stud. Secondary. I think they're going to take a corner.
Miles Bryant, elite. Sean Wade, high recruit.
Oh, man. What a trajectory that was.
Marcus Jones, electric.
At returning the football.
Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, okay. All right, Joey Porter Jr.
I kind of walked you into that one.
Joey Porter Jr. it is.
It's a sneaky one.
It is sneaky.
You're like, oh, wait, this is really bad back here. And they are obsessed with drafting and signing corners.
All right, you're up with the Packers at 15.
Packers at 15. I get it. I get it. They only take big wide receivers. I get it. And this guy's not even small. Do you think there's a chance they take Jackson Smith and Jigba?
No.
I know. It's so stupid.
No,
I don't either because there's no history telling us that they will.
No, that it feels like Green Bay is one of the teams that's most firm on their thresholds. And I feel like they only take big, fast receivers. I don't know what the exact threshold numbers are.
No, I know.
Lucas Van Ness would be there, would absolutely be in their wheelhouse, by the way.
Yes.
If he was on the board for them.
I think so. And I think they can get a tight end in round 2.
Yeah.
Because I know that's been popular for them.
They picked 45, so
they have their pick of the litter here. I'll take Van Ness.
That's probably smart.
Yeah. Van Ness at 15 to Green Bay. Him and Rashawn Gary. Kind of freaky.
All right, what are you doing to me here with Washington?
Oh, man.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, this is tricky.
They
Deontay Banks, maybe?
They need interior O-line. They need corner. They need offensive tackle. I'd still think about Anton Harrison. I still think about Darnell Wright. But I see in my head, those guys are more comfortable like back end of the first round guys. But at the end of the day, it's a premium position. If these teams think that they need a premium position, they're probably going to take a chance on one. Deontay Banks is good, though. He's real good. I think it's probably between Banks and probably Banks and Torrance, but at that point, I think you pick Banks.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, we're going with Deontay Banks. I don't mean to sound not stoked about it because that's dope. Deontay Banks, insane athlete, one of the best cover corners in this class. Been telling y'all. And I think he tested incredibly. So even if the ball skills aren't exactly what you think or what you want them to be, he's still a phenomenal corner. So yeah, Banks is 16.
So the Steelers are on the clock at 17. They have the 32nd pick in this draft because of the Chase Claypool trade. So keep that in mind here. Man, this one's really tough, Trev. Because
Joey Porter Jr. is off the board.
Because he's off the board. They could use a tackle.
Yeah.
They could use a corner.
Just go back to back Pittsburgh to Pittsburgh first round connections.
Oh, you thinking Kalijah Kancey here?
I mean, maybe.
It's fun.
Him next to Hayward would be fun.
It would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
This is a really brutal spot for them. Like it's as much as I like him, it's too early for DJ Turner.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Branch is a good player, but they don't need that kind of player.
Way too early
right here.
For DJ Turner, in my opinion.
Man, I think it might be Darnell Wright.
Okay.
But he's a true right tackle. Tennessee tried the left tackle experiment.
Yeah, but Chuck Okorafor played left tackle at Western Michigan.
So you flip him over.
So you could easily flip him. He's played left before. Wright tried to play left, and I don't think that he was very good at it. But
no, they moved him back.
But Okorafor was the better of the tackles anyways for Pittsburgh, and you could flip him back over to left tackle.
I'm going to take Wright. And I know it seems early. It's a little early for me, but the tackles are going to go. And in my opinion, he's the guy that makes the most sense for the Steelers. Gives them size, gives them strength. He's battle tested. Played really well against Brzee and Will Anderson. I'm going to go with Darnell Wright at 17.
Lions picked Will Anderson at 6. Now they're sitting here at 18. I was hoping to get Deontay Banks. I played myself.
You played yourself. You played
myself. Yep. Fortunately for them. There's another secondary player that's still on the board that Dan Campbell's absolutely going to love. Hold on, let me check the depth chart. Let me make sure that there's not some hidden gem that I'm forgetting about.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, we're picking Brian Branch. Yeah, we are slamming home the selection of Brian Branch. Detroit Lions coming away with Will Anderson and Brian Branch. What a first round. You'll love to see it. Lions
we took the two best players from Alabama's defense.
Again. Dan
Insanity.
Campbell, Brad Holmes. If you need consulting, hit us up in the YouTube comments. Smash subscribe. Trigger those notifications.
What is it when Super Chat? Super chat us.
Yeah. Hit the super chat.
Hit the super
Brad
chat.
Holmes with the super chat for $5. Who should I take at 6?
Oh man, that'd be great. That'd be so good. The Bucks at 19. This is where I have to phone a friend here, buddy. I mean, come on.
Nah, phone's dead.
Phone's dead. Don't pick up. I'm leaning Miles Murphy here.
I'll tell you who they'd pick at 19 if he's still here. Nolan Smith.
I forgot about Nolan.
If Nolan Smith is here, 100%, they'd take Nolan Smith.
All right, we'll go with Nolan Smith. Freakish combine, sub 4.40. He's healthy. He's smaller than your typical edge. I always said I like what he does off the ball better than as a true rusher.
Mm-hmm. Who did you want to pick? Sorry, I was
Miles Murphy.
Yeah,
Bowles always loves these big ends.
Yeah, but they took
the Houston kid.
Yeah, they took Logan Hall last year. I don't think that they'd take Miles Murphy.
Just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
No, yeah, I don't think they would do that. I'm trying
to. All right, we'll go with Nolan Smith and just get true dynamite athleticism.
Yeah, and Nolan Smith, I think he's locked into the top 20. I know we picked him at number 19 here, and it's you kind of have habits that you form with mock drafts when you do so many of them, and of course we're trying to
forget. Yeah,
we're trying to like take the combine into account and all that stuff, and we're switching some things, but you do. I think Nolan Smith's in play at 10. Right. Like I think that he's going to be in play for the Eagles if the board doesn't break
so rich for me
the right way for him. But ultimately, I personally think he's a top 20 lock. I don't think the NFL is going to let a football player this athletic and this passionate about the game of football get out of the top 20. That's just my thoughts. So Bucks getting Nolan Smith there at number 19. Puts the Seattle Seahawks up at number 20. Jalen Carter.
Pretty good ad.
Ooh. All right. So we got Jalen Carter at 5. Man, they could. Osiris Torrance? Ooh. I feel like back-to-back trenches, not the worst thing in the world for Seattle. Trying to look at some other selections here.
What about Darnell Washington?
Oh, at 20? You think he's going 20?
Did you watch the combine?
No, what happened? I've long thought that Darnell Washington was a top 50 lock.
You've always said this. You said he was the best tight end at Georgia all along.
Tight end. Look, I said it in summer scouting. Darnell Washington.
Oh, man.
Tight end 1. All right, so.
I know I would do here if I was Seattle, but I am not.
Would you pick Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Every single time. This is the easiest draft pick in the world.
Man, you son of a
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba in the slot, Kenneth Walker in the backfield, Geno back on a deal.
All right.
Defensive line.
All right, I'll do it.
We're doing it what we think they will do, not what we would do. They can super chat us if they want that advice.
All right, I'll go JSN.
Okay. You did the fun route.
I don't think. Well, I'm trying to. Well, Seattle. Okay, wait, hold on. Did you already click JSN for 20?
No.
Okay, good.
I knew you were. It was the least confident thing ever.
Because
all right, I'll go JSN.
Did Jackson Smith and Jigba play another sport growing up? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Because Pete Carroll's obsessed with that stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. How about Sauce, by the way? Did you hear that?
No, what'd he say?
Said he was a total weirdo, basically, Pete Carroll. He said he's a close talker.
Oh, yeah. He did say the Seattle thing was weird, didn't he?
Said it was the most uncomfortable interview he had.
That's kind of funny.
It actually was really funny. Sauce is unbelievable.
Oh, man. I'm scrolling here. I'm trying to find answers. I'm searching my soul. I'm seeing which player speaks to me. What about Dalton Kincaid?
Oh, God, dude.
Oh, you're not into it?
If Dalton Kincaid goes in the top 20 before Darnell Washington and Michael Mayer,
Did Dalton Kincaid
Play
play
basketball.
other sports? I'm Googling this right now. Did he play other sports? Come on.
I'm sure he did.
Come on.
He's a good athlete.
Kincaid hails from the great state of Nevada and grew up focusing most of his attention on the game of basketball. I'm picking Dalton Kincaid at 20, and there's nothing you can do to tell me otherwise. You're up at number 21.
Oh, my God. Hey, I'll give credit where it's due.
There you go, Pete.
Yep.
That pickup basketball game in the offseason is going to look a lot better now, buddy.
Dalton Kincaid at 20 to Seattle. The Chargers are on the clock at 21. They need wide receiver. They could use a little help on defense. I don't know if it's as cut and dried. I feel like they always need a vertical guy.
Of course.
Right?
Do. Yeah.
That makes it so annoying. Like, I feel like I'm a total madman if I take Jalen Hyatt here. But once again, I'm not trying to do what I would do. I'm trying to do what these teams think of.
What other teams would do?
I'm going to take Jalen Hyatt.
Hold on. Let's see. Chargers draft history. Hold on. Let's see. Let's do a little digging. See if we got anything here. Zion Johnson last year. JT Woods in the third. Isaiah Spiller in the fourth. Yikes. Rashawn Slater, Asante Samuel Jr., Josh Palmer. Okay, that's good.
Well,
what?
If Palmer was better, we wouldn't be in this issue we're currently sitting in. But
Okay,
yes.
fair. Okay, fair. That's fair. Man, they don't pick wide receivers early. They do
no,
not
and that's how they got
receivers.
here, by the way.
They picked Mike Williams in the first round in 2017.
Yeah, that's early. Man, Josh Palmer had a sneaky 769 yards last year.
Sneak.
If Chargers fans come for my head and say, hey, he's actually really good now, I will apologize. I did not expect that. I saw him make some plays, but almost 800 yards?
I thought he was fine.
Fine. I feel like the thing with the Chargers all the time was like, man, if they only had another third wide receiver to stretch the field.
Well, they need like a field stretcher. I don't know if Palmer's that. He can be productive, but I don't know if he's that. Man, they'd love a guy in the interior. I don't know if anybody's there, right? Like even if you want to be spicy with Adetomiwa Adebawore.
I'm taking Hyatt, just so you know.
Okay, all right, okay. He already clicked it, folks. You can't go back.
I did now. I'm taking Hyatt. I know he was expected to run even better than he did, and I know he was 176. The tape is the tape. The guy can fly on the field. I think he's got tracking. Once again, I like quite a few receivers more than him, but this is how the draft goes.
Ravens at 22.
Man, this is a team where everything could just be in a totally different place in 2 months, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 100%. You were right about that.
But right now, I think we operate like Lamar Jackson is the quarterback and will be the quarterback.
I might tell you the opposite.
Okay. That's a fun way of looking at it.
I don't think Lamar is going to be back with the Ravens.
I mean, they don't even appear close.
And like even if they franchise tag him, I don't know if he's going to say I'm not playing. But it's not like they take a quarterback. I don't think you're going to take a quarterback because there's not one to be had.
It feels like he's getting the non-exclusive tag, and somebody's going to be able to give him an offer.
So they've got Odafe Owe. They have David Ojabo that they drafted last year.
Man, it's right, Ojabo.
Right. Big bonus. They have Travis Jones, even though the guys up front are getting a little bit older. They do have Travis Jones. Probably going to lose Marcus Peters. Probably going to lose Kyle Fuller. Marlon Humphrey's on one side. Definitely need corner. Oh, what about Cam Smith? I normally have not put Cam Smith in the first round.
We talked about how good of a combine he had.
But he did have a good combine. And Clark Phillips is normally who I'd feel comfortable putting here, but Clark just did not have a good combine.
He's not going in the first round.
Loved his podium, don't get me wrong. But he didn't test well, came in smaller than we thought. Super small arms. He's only an outside corner on his tape. I'm basically thinking Jackson Smith and Jigba or Cam Smith.
Here. Cam Smith.
Okay.
If I can guide your your hand a little bit with things I heard with Baltimore.
Okay, Cam Smith it is. Cam Smith at 22.
Yep. They will look for a fast, long corner in that spot. So Cam Smith comes off the board. And good for Cam, man. Ran well. Good for Cam Smith.
Yep.
23, the Vikings, because the slide has to stop. I will be taking Myles Murphy here.
Oh, okay.
The Vikings could have questions on the edge, and Murphy can really kick along any alignment on the defensive line. So Myles Murphy is just he's a freak in terms of his athleticism and size and movement, and the Vikings need help in that front seven. So they take BPA on defense.
I'm looking up something for the Jags because I've already moved on.
No, please.
We will. I'm looking at Ringo. And I don't think Ringo is a man. I don't know how in I'd be on Ringo as a first rounder.
I'm not, but
I'm not
close.
either. I'm not either. Where else would the Jags go?
Let's operate like Evan Ingram goes back and then they avoid the tight end market.
Well, they franchise tagged him.
They did franchise him.
Yeah.
So he is back.
He
can have a say in the matter.
Right. So there's not anything to like tempt them there. They signed Brandon Scherf. I guess they could upgrade along the offensive line. Depending on what happens with Juwan Taylor, they might have a tackle need. They'd like to
this is kind of a sneaky DJ Turner like conversation starter.
You think DJ's going first round?
No, but I think we're going to get to the point where he's going a lot earlier than people think.
Maybe, but
I think he's going top 50.
I just can't get there.
This board's not the prettiest thing right now.
Because they're going to release Shaq Griffin, like straight up. I think that was the report that we got. So you don't like to pigeonhole yourself for needs?
No, you don't. I mean, hell, why don't you just take Kalijah Kancey? And if that's the case.
I don't think they take Kancey.
He's not going to be for everyone.
I'll go Ringo. I'm going to take Keely Ringo.
Okay.
I'll take Keely Ringo here at 24.
I don't think that's like egregious.
This board did not break well for the Jags.
Well, this is when it gets harder.
I thought about Jordan Addison. I thought about Jackson Smith-Njigba, but
they're good at wide receiver now.
Well, Marvin Jones is a free agent.
Yeah, but they got Zay Jones
and Christian Kirk.
And Calvin Ridley.
Oh, Calvin Ridley.
Every time.
Trevor, idiot.
I do it every time.
You moron.
This is the first time I remembered and you didn't.
You do it for a living. All right, yeah, they're good. I'm glad. Then I'm confident. Keely Ringo as your CB2. That's fine. You got Tyson Campbell on one side, Keely Ringo on the other. I'm good. I'm chilling.
Giants, amazing situation. Sprint that Jackson Smith-Njigba card in. Get yourself some wide receiver talent. Gut feeling he doesn't make it here, but also there's a chance. There's absolutely a chance. And I think they would consider Jordan Addison in this spot as much as he did not have the week he had hoped to. But we'll go Jackson Smith-Njigba for the Giants, who desperately need a wide receiver. Did hear that doing a lot of background to get Wink some corner help, but this did not break that way at all. So you look day 2 for that.
Dallas on the board here, 26. Apparently they're, I don't know, doing whatever they can to bring Tony Pollard back. I don't know what that means for Ezekiel Elliott. We've talked about Bijan Robinson being a spot here before. Maybe it happens. But I think I like Zay Flowers here.
I do too, a lot.
Yeah,
I really do.
I think Jerry's going to be in on Zay. I think Jerry's going to be very in on Zay Flowers. So I'll go Flowers here at 26. I don't think running back until free agency sorts itself out. I don't think running back was tempted a little bit by Kalijah Kancey to add to the D line, get some juice in there. But ultimately, I think they really want a wide receiver. I do. And so we'll have Zay going here.
All right. So I know everybody's listening at this point in the pod, and they probably think I'm taking Bijan Robinson to the Bills every single time. And I get the thought. I do. And I wouldn't argue against you. But I am actually going to take DeJuan Jones here at this spot.
Ooh.
I think they want to upgrade at that right tackle spot.
Ooh. Ooh.
I think they are in on offensive line.
Okay.
Listen, maybe he'll get a chance to compete. But in all honesty, I do not like what I've seen from Spencer Brown protecting the right side for Josh Allen so far. So I'm going to go with DeJuan Jones and just get a total mammoth of a human, by the way. 6'8", 374, 87 and 7/8 wingspan. I mean, just out of this world. He moves well at that size, too. It's pretty shocking. So the Bills take a offensive tackle here. And I think I probably would have made that pick for the Bengals next, by the way.
28 Bengals are up. They have, I feel like my top two guys-ish for the Bengals, realistically, are both still on the board here.
Is Anton Harrison one of them?
Anton Harrison's one of them.
Let me try to get the other one.
Okay. All right. Okay. I can give you hints. I can give you hints if you want.
That kind of crapped out on me quick. This is pretty tougher than I thought. I knew you like Harrison there.
Yep.
They're apparently going to lose Jesse Bates in free agency, according to reports.
I heard that it was not close with them.
Not close.
But not recently. I heard this a while ago.
Okay.
It was just not close at all between them.
When you lived in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
People forget.
When I literally could have thrown a baseball like at the stadium. That's how close I lived to the stadium.
Are you thinking Adeboire?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
But we will get Adeboire off the board soon here, I think. My hint. Do you want a hint? Do you want to keep guessing or do you want me to just say it?
No, you could say it.
Okay. Darnell Washington.
Duh. How did I not?
I think I'm going Darnell here.
I love it.
I
can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
This will be my favorite team in the AFC besides the Jets if they make this pick. And it's not even close.
Complete alien, folks. Complete alien.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Darnell Washington.
Trent Irwin.
Oh my God.
6'7", 264 pounds.
Remember when betting opened up in the state of Ohio and one of your first bets was like an Irwin catch for like 6 yards?
Why would you bring that up? And it was the one game he didn't make a catch. Game.
I know.
It was the one game he didn't make a catch.
Good intro to betting. It's fun. It's really fun. Darnell Washington, the Bengals, I think, is one of the best picks of this mock draft.
Betting is fun. Okay, you're up with the New Orleans Saints. You mentioned a player who I feel like would be very good for the Saints.
Adeboire?
Yeah.
He would be. I'm pretty torn right now between Adeboire, a little bit of Cansey, because that would be a little off the board for them, something they don't have, in my opinion. Oh, man. So
I think they'd pick Adeboire before they'd pick Cansey.
So Davenport is a free agent.
Right.
Carl Granderson's good. Cam Jordan is just a total wonder at this age, but, it's not going to be forever.
Mm-hmm.
They have Passanio. God, Peyton Turner. Isn't that bizarre to think about? It's not good to say that, by the way, about.
Well, yeah. I don't think that, I mean, like, they need edge, but if they're picking anything along D-line, I think they're picking interior defensive line, which is why I think that Adeboire is in their wheelhouse.
He's like a big edge.
They also need wide receiver, but
they do. They also need Derek Carr.
I wonder if they move on from Michael Thomas.
Yes.
And Jarvis Landry, like both.
That relationship has been
right. So then,
oh man,
Smith and
this
Jigba
is hell.
Nice.
Yeah, played myself. Sweet. This is brutal. Totally brutal. I really want to take Cansey. I want to take Adeboire.
I feel like there's a butt coming up.
The wide receiver point's good, but how much did Addison really hurt himself this week, you think?
He's just small, man.
He's small and not overly fast.
He's just really small. Yeah. I thought he was going to be way faster now. What was his 40? What did it end up being?
Was it a 4.5?
Hold on, I can tell you in a second.
The unofficial I thought was 4.54.
Oh boy, we're scrolling here. 449. He's fine.
That's fine.
He's fine. Would have liked to see it faster, but whatever.
Yeah,
Dude, how did Tyler Scott run a 4.44?
How about me beating you out with the Hyatt pick, and they both ran in the 4.4?
We've been duped.
They both ran in the 4.4.
Jalen Hyatt ran a 4.44, and I was like, good night, Connor. I win.
And then Tyler Scott's like, yeah, Trev, watch me walk backwards and do this thing.
Watch me stick the middle finger straight up in the air for all 40 yards, Trev.
All right, I'll get it back on track. I'm going with Kancey.
Okay.
They're it's time's a flat circle. They draft Sheldon Rankins again. No, I'm just kidding, but kind of now. Rankins is a good player.
He is a good player.
He was just on the Jets the last 2 years instead.
Well, Adetomiwa Adebawore doesn't have to wait very long.
Yeah, we know they like athletic D-line in
Philadelphia Eagles at number 30. I got them with Devon Witherspoon at number 10, and we're picking an absolute freak show of athleticism with Adebawore. What a player.
That one makes a lot of sense.
For him to get to 30, I mean, like, he is a Philadelphia Eagle all the way, I think, if he makes it 30.
Do you realize we're running into a bit of an issue?
Why? Because Bijan Robinson's not off the board?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not doing it here.
I was going to say, well,
I am taking...
What do the champs need? Just one of the best playmakers out of the backfield we've seen over the last half decade.
I know, but they don't need that. They don't.
Connor, look at me.
I have to do this.
They don't need anything.
They don't need anything.
They don't need anything. Now, offensive tackle maybe, but I thought Wiley played better as the year went on.
There's that and the whole Orlando Brown trade rumors, but I'm not really buying into that. I think what makes sense here, honestly, is if they don't re-sign Juju, Jordan Addison makes sense here.
Yeah, because then you play him in the slot.
I'm going to say that Juju or Mecole Hardman or both get paid somewhere else and they take Jordan Addison.
Okay. All right.
And now we are in round 2 and Bijan Robinson is on the board. And maybe people are angry.
Where would we have took him?
I don't know. People would tell you the Eagles at 30. That's what they would tell you. Okay,
maybe, but the Eagles don't spend their premium picks on running backs.
They also really like Kenny Gainwell, by the way.
Yeah, the Eagles built the incredible roster that they did by not doing that. Now, some players are outliers, and so Bijan Robinson, unbelievable football player, he could be in the conversation there. But I agree with you. Bijan is gonna go somewhere in the first round of this draft. But as we are going through a mock draft, there's just so many other premium positions that we would pick over him. Like, these are places where I could see Bijan Robinson going. 8 to the Falcons.
But they have Algier.
14 to the Patriots, but probably not. They have too many other big needs.
If the Lions really don't believe in Swift, which I'm skeptical on,
maybe, right?
There's no way at 18.
But I don't think they take him at 18.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Ravens at 22, but how much would you have to not believe in J.K. Dobbins for that to be the case?
It's not on the table for the Bucs at 19.
It shouldn't be. They need too
I agree. It shouldn't be.
I think they need too many other things. I think the team just needs too many other things. So it's like, look, 25, if Saquon goes elsewhere, there's a chance they pick Bijan over a wide receiver that's going to be left at 25, right?
Yeah, that's an odd.
Right?
I know they didn't take Saquon, but that is like, yeah.
Because if you have to franchise tag Daniel Jones, let's say a deal doesn't get done and you got to franchise tag Daniel Jones because you don't want him hitting free agency. You're going to risk it with Saquon because if you guys have not figured out a deal yet, then he's going to test the open waters. So if he tests the open waters and somebody's giving him more money, he's a running back. He needs the guaranteed money. He's going to go take it elsewhere. At that point, they could potentially take Bijan Robinson. Cowboys, we talked about being a potential option for them, although I feel like that's less likely than I did a couple of weeks ago. Bills, maybe at 27, but I agree they have needs in the trenches and needs a slot receiver.
They just took James Cook in round 2 last year.
Right. That would trump that. Eagles maybe at 30, but again, I don't think that's how they've built their team. And then are the Chiefs going to take another running back in the first round after getting burnt by Clyde Edwards-Helaire? No, probably not.
They need to.
So here we are with Bijan still on the board at the beginning of round 2. 32. Pittsburgh Steelers on the board thanks to the Chase Claypool trade. We have them taking Darnell Wright at number 17. Ooh, who's left at corner? Ooh, little Tyreek Stevenson action? Could. You seem to think that DJ Turner is going to be a top 50 pick?
I like him better than Stevenson.
I like Garrett Williams, but I don't know if he's going
not this early though, right?
I don't think he's going this high. Emmanuel Ford was too skinny.
The Gumby of the draft.
Sorry. Oh, Brian Brzee also still here.
Yeah, which isn't all that shocking, right?
No, it's not.
But it's intriguing, I think.
Oh, Mozzie Smith's still here too. I think I'm going either Mozzie Smith or Brian Brzee. I'm going to go Brzee.
I would too. I don't even think that one's too close.
Okay.
I know people really like Mozzie Smith. I think our show was lower on him than the general consensus.
Yeah, I mean, the tape's super hot and cold, right?
Super hot and cold.
We're trying to do a predictive mock, obviously. And
yep.
So
yep.
I think the NFL is higher on Mozzie Smith than this show was. So.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. So the Bears are back on the clock because of the trade at the start of the show.
You're welcome, Bears fans.
Yes, you are welcome because you have Paris Johnson at 9. You are now picking at 33.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Bijan Robinson, which is really one hell of a scenario for you. I mean,
wow, I didn't even think of that.
Like, good Lord.
They're letting Montgomery walk, right?
Yeah, and I know, oh my God.
Khalil Herbert.
Khalil, thank you. Jeez, brain fry.
No, I got you.
Looked really good this year, Khalil Herbert. Really good. It was like, hey, give him the ball a little more. I know he got banged up, but if the Giants let Saquon or Saquon gets to the market, I actually think the Bears should be the number one suitor for him, ironically.
Ooh, good point.
But in this scenario, we don't know that. So I will take Bijan Robinson to Chicago, and that is just awesome for Justin Fields. Running behind Paris Johnson. Pretty sweet start for the Bears.
All right, so you took Tyree Wilson for the Arizona Cardinals at 33. Got the Cardinals back up here at 34. There is OG1 on the board still. Osiris Torrance is still here. Yep. And I feel like that's got to be the pick. I feel like for too long, the Cardinals have not done what they have needed to do in the trenches, and they remedy that here with back-to-back trench picks. So I'm going to go Osiris Torrance here at 34.
Yeah, they'll need a guarded center. It came out today that Rodney Hudson is expected to retire.
Yep.
So you're on the thinking of, hey, you could have been John Michael Schmitz, Joe Tippmann, Steve Avila, Osiris Torrance's BPA on the spot.
Will Hernandez. Okay, hold on here. Holy cow. I guess I didn't realize it was this bad. Rodney Hudson retired. Justin Pugh, Rashad Coward, Billy Price, Max Garcia, Will Hernandez, Kelvin Beachum, and Cody Ford. All of them are free agents.
Which honestly,
that is the entire
offensive line,
starting offensive line outside of DJ Humphries and Josh Jones. And that is the entire second string of their offensive line, either in free agency or retired.
Maybe they do trade out of 3.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think it's on the table. I really do think it's on the table. All right, you're up.
So Cyrus Torrance, the Colts are on the clock at 35. They got Anthony Richardson, not Will Levis at 4. I need to double check that and make sure. I am going to go, man, they need O-line help really across the board. It's just a matter of how you
chop it up.
Yeah, how you chop it up in this spot, right? I mean, Raymond's going to get a shot next year. They have Quentin Nelson. Ooh, this one's tricky. This one's really tricky. I'm thinking Anton Harrison's an option in this spot. Steve Avila at right guard.
Ooh, Steve Avila.
I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to have Steve Avila play guard. He's played center and guard for TCU, so you like the flexibility here. Yep. I'm going to go with Steve Avila.
Okay. All right, Steve Avila to the Indianapolis Colts. Let me find him real quick.
Steve Avila going 2 spots after Bijan Robinson is the kind of things that like you need to go through scenarios to do mocks over and over again.
Well, I think I'm going to go Anton Harrison here for the Rams then.
Tackle's a need.
Yeah, it's just a major need for him. I'm trying to see if there's like really anybody else that I would be thinking of. I mean, I like Felix Anudike-Azuma. I like Keon White. I like these guys now that we're kind of into the second round. But
yeah, I don't think Keon White makes it this far, but we just haven't had the right home for him yet.
Yeah, we might in a couple picks, actually. I'm going Anton Harrison, though, at 36 for the Los Angeles Rams. Just getting something along the O-line. Something. Need something here.
Anton Harrison goes. The Seahawks are back on the clock. They have gotten Jalen Carter.
Mm-hmm. And say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest. Not my choosing.
Say it with your chest.
Michael Mayer's still on the board. I'm sickened right now.
Good.
Sickened.
Good.
Disgusted.
Good.
Oh man. They need a third wide receiver pretty badly.
They do.
I am actually going. I kind of like how this fell.
Okay.
I am taking Josh Downs here.
Ooh.
For the Seahawks. I think he'd be really, really good there.
Anybody else at the receiver position give you any debate at all?
No. Oh, I thought you were making a Tank Dell joke.
No. I wasn't.
No, nobody did for what they need. I love Cedric Tillman. I like Tyler Scott. But I think that if you have DK and Lockett on the outside, Josh Downs will eat on the inside.
Okay, Carolina is back up on the clock because they did not have to give up their second.
The Raiders are on the clock.
The Raiders are on the clock because I can't read today. You had them taking Will Levis at number 7, and I have them here at number 38. Definitely need defense. I think this was probably going to be Will McDonald, right?
For the Raiders?
Yeah.
Wasn't Chandler Jones there forever?
Is he there forever? I didn't think he was there forever.
It's pretty wild.
Is it brutal? God.
No, okay. He's there for the next, probably at least this year, maybe the second year. There's a lot of dead money on this thing the next 2 years. And there's 2 void years just for a little bonus. I think they just need Chandler Jones to...
Just in case. Just
in case he didn't hate the contract enough. They need a corner.
I know. They need secondary bad.
I could see them looking at Forbes, honestly. I know I agree too. He's light.
Oh, I'm not picking him. All due respect to Emmanuel Forbes. Sorry. I don't mean for that to just.
Do they need interior O-line?
He's 166, Connor. He's 166.
I know.
He showed up at the combine at 166. I'm taking Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson it is.
Yeah.
Raiders get corner help. In the mold of Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson looked really good at the Senior Bowl. I'm giving him his flowers here.
So Panthers are back on the clock. They made the big move to get CJ Stroud.
Big move.
Which you love. You really love to see that.
Huge move.
This one's a little tricky here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to take Keon White in this spot.
Okay.
I thought about Jahmyr Gibbs. Full transparency.
Ooh.
I thought about Michael Mayer.
You know what? They like Deontay Foreman a lot.
He's a free agent.
No, okay. Is he?
Yeah. That's what our lads tells me.
Who is he?
And I mean, I'm sure they can get him back.
So they like him a lot. Like that was my main takeaway from Scott Fitterer's presser because he really did not give us much else. But when somebody asked him about Foreman, he's like, "Yeah, we love him." Basically.
Okay, so they'll find a way for that.
So I think he's back on the team.
So Keon White, they get more depth at edge, and they he's a totally different player than Burns. Keon White, he'll be really good against the run today, and you're going to develop those pass rush tools with his size and speed.
I was going to say, what about tomorrow?
He might be good tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay. In that case, then I'm in. Totally in. Saints at 40. You got him taking Kancey at 29. They could definitely use a wide receiver. Is there anybody in here worth picking?
Mm.
Michael Wilson, my God.
I would take Cedric Tillman here. I know nobody else probably would.
Yeah, I bet you would.
I would.
Yeah, I bet. Corner.
Kind of fell off a cliff quick, huh? Besides my guy DJ Turner.
There's guys, right? Clark Phillips is here. Yep. DJ Turner is here. Julius Brents is here. Darius Rush is here. Garrett Williams is here. Darius Rush going 40 though?
Probably not.
I don't think he's going 40.
It's been a really good process for him, though. I want to say that.
Yeah, he's definitely on the up. There's no doubt about that. What's a tight end room like in New Orleans? Other than Taysom Hill. Don't say that to me.
I didn't.
Juwan Johnson.
Who was unreal.
Adam Troutman. Yeah, they did just draft Troutman. But he's been hurt, I feel like, right?
They don't have a Michael Mayer, okay? Like, they don't have that dude.
I like Paulson. They drafted Alontae Taylor. They've got Bradley Roby. They still have DeMario Davis. They've got Pete Warner. And it's basically just wide receiver. And how do we get this team a good wide receiver?
I mean, you're going to want to take Tank Dell, of course.
I'm taking Michael Wilson. I'm doing it. I don't care. I don't care what you think.
You're insane.
I don't care what you think.
All right. I had to search his name. I just type his name into the search bar, by the way, to find him at this point in the mock draft.
I thought you were going to say the surgeon's bar because he's been hurt a bunch.
That would have been.
I was going to tell you that was going to be distasteful.
Michael Wilson at 40 to the Saints.
Most least surprising thing that the pod listeners have heard so far is me overdrafting Michael Wilson.
Nobody here is surprised. 41, the Titans. They got offensive line help in Skoronski.
Pete.
They could use some pass rush.
Could use some pass rush.
They could use another wide receiver. I don't like the board here at all.
No.
I am going to go BJ Ojulari.
Wow, our guys going back to back.
Yeah, we did the thing right there. we don't really care about these two picks and what the NFL thinks. It's time for our opinions to matter.
Browns up at 42, and Tank Dell is still on the board.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. Oh man,
I'm picking Keanu Benton.
Okay, thank you. It would have been a really good bit to just keep it going. Oh, it would have been really good. So the Jets are on the clock. I can't get the pod back on the rails. I think we're done.
My face turns so red when I laugh. I know that everybody who watches on YouTube can see it.
I just get crying eyes instantly.
Hysterically laughing. Okay, anyways, yeah. Your Jets, 43.
It's just like wild to me that Michael Mayer is still here. It's starting to drive me insane. And I'm not doing it, by the way, because the Jets are paying 2 tight ends and they drafted Jeremy Ruckert last year.
Mm-hmm.
They need better play at safety. I really like Antonio Johnson in this spot.
Ooh, nice. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the move for them. They're small in the middle of the field. Jordan Whitehead and LaMarcus Joyner, I have not looked this up. I would guess they are the smallest safety duo in the NFL. So you go the other way and get Antonio Johnson.
Jordan Whitehead's like 2% body fat, though.
Oh, yeah. Ripped.
My guy is absolutely shredded.
And a solid player. But they just need to get bigger at the safety position. And Johnson's a really nice fit for them.
All right. So Antonio Johnson of the Jets, 43. Puts the Atlanta Falcons up on the clock at 44. We had them taking Christian Gonzalez, number 8. I do think that this has to be pass rusher for them. Now, Will McDonald is on the board, and I think that Will McDonald is probably the best pass rusher left. But they did just draft Arnold Ebiketie. And, I mean, is D'Angelo Malone, is he a pass rusher for them?
Yeah.
They have him listed at outside linebacker on the depth chart.
He's a rush backer, yeah. But now that Lorenzo Carter's a free agent, maybe that opens the door for him in that spot.
Right. But even if he's going to play off-ball linebacker for them, he's still going to rush a lot.
Exactly.
So they have a lighter rusher in D'Angelo Malone. They have a lighter rusher in Arnold Ebiketie.
Yeah.
Are they going to take another lighter rusher in Will McDonald? Probably not. And so I'm going to pivot to Felix Anudike-Uzomah.
Okay. Get a bigger end.
A guy who could play 5-tech for you, guy who could play with his hand in the dirt, always the defensive end presence that you want. Loved his podium session, one of my favorite podium sessions that we had during the week.
Yeah, it was awesome. We got to listen to that one together.
Different, and he feels like somebody who is going to know how to produce in his rookie season, and then hopefully get even better year 2, year 3. So I'll go Kansas State's Felix Anudike-Uzomah, 44 for the Falcons.
So the Packers are on the clock. The guy I considered taking for them at 15 is still here. They took Van Ness at 15. I was torn between Van Ness and Mayer. So I will take Michael Mayer in this spot. I feel like he falls somewhere in between, right? Like he's not the guy, and I like Mayer a lot. But
I agree.
I don't think he's the guy that's this consensus, break the wheel, I'm going to be a top 15 pick as a tight end. I also don't think he's going to fall this far into the second round. It's somewhere in the middle. But like we said, all scenarios on the table. This is an amazing draft for Green Bay, an amazing fit for Green Bay. He's good at everything, every aspect of the tight end position. He's not the fastest guy, and it feels like you have to just fly to get drafted early as a tight end. But this is a steal at this point of the draft for a really good player.
Really good scenario here for the New England Patriots, who took Joey Porter Jr. in the first round. Really wasn't an offensive tackle that you felt comfortable with, taking him that high. Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse is still here at 46. And I think that's a really solid 1-2 combo for them, because Bergeron is somebody who also gives you some inside-out versatility. I think he has the capabilities to play at one of those interior offensive line spots if you want him to. But I also think that, we got him listed at tackle for a reason, because we believe that he can play over at tackle. So really hitting corner well with Joey Porter Jr. and then still being able to get Bergeron at 46 is really good for him.
Okay, so Washington's on the clock, and I'm going John Michael Schmitz here.
Nice.
I think he's confident he could play guard and center. Washington needs help all along the interior of their offensive linemen. This is really a great landing spot to improve that unit as a whole. I think this Schmidt's range is probably somewhere early in the second round to middle of second round. Centers, you just don't know. Linderbaum ended up going to the first. Creed Humphrey was very highly touted, ended up going at the end of the second. You don't know with centers. It's a weird position. So Schmitz comes off the board at 47 to Washington, and I bet they love that pick.
Detroit.
You've made every Detroit pick. You're single-handedly rebuilding the Lions and answering Brad Holmes' super chats.
Well, I got you. I got them. $5 from B Holmes. What should the Lions do in the second round?
I'm looking at the linebackers, but you guys might have a different take. Thanks so much. Hashtag sex addict.
Oh my God. Incredible. Will Anderson at 6, Brian Branch at 18. I want to pick Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. You should.
What's the situation with Swift and Williams? Williams a free agent?
Williams has got to be a free agent by now.
Williams is a free agent. I think they're good. I mean, they're going to bring Jamal Williams back. And with that, since it's not, I can't imagine them drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, even with it being
that's a lot.
Swift last year. I don't think they would do that. What's their tight end room like now?
They don't give a shit. They traded Hawkinson, and they were like, we got 8 million wide receivers that can ball.
Okay, fair. It's true.
No, there's value right now at tight end, though. You're right.
What about linebacker?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, you figured it out.
This is the most Dan Campbell player in the draft.
It's his son.
They're long lost brothers. Jack Campbell, 48.
I love it.
Lions.
I was going to take him at 49 for the Steelers. I'm still going to go linebacker for the Steelers here, and I'm going to take Trenton Simpson.
Okay.
Just get a ton of speed. He can rush a little bit. He can cover. This gives the Steelers a hell of a player and a guy that I think will play more outside backer, even though he played inside a lot for Clemson this year.
Bucks still have Will McDonald on the board. The best players on the board are pass rushers. Good job, Trev. You really did this well for the Bucks. I had them taking Nolan Smith in the first round.
You did. I phoned a friend and you answered.
Yeah, I mean, that was the right.
Never answer.
That was the right pick. That was the right pick. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, people. What do you want from me?
What about Whippler?
Is Whippler going before Tittman, you think?
Dealer's choice. I'm a little higher on Whippler. I feel like other people like Tittman. Good question. I would love to get a little confirmation on that.
I like both these guys. Is there either one that you think has more guard versatility? I haven't looked up the snap count of these guys.
Tittman's huge for a center. I haven't seen many centers like that.
Okay, so Whippler's only played center.
He's smaller.
He's played 800 snaps the last 2 years. Tittman started his career at right guard, but he only played 11 snaps. So I assume that was just to get him on the field. Then he's played center in the last 2 seasons. I think I might go Tittman.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go Tittman here. Let's do one last peruse of the board. And it's just a lot of edge rushers. The only one that's really tempting me is Jahmyr Gibbs.
I could see that. I really can.
Man. Rashad White and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Lean on the run while being a little handicapped at quarterback.
That'd be pretty sick, actually. Son of a gun. No, I'm gonna go Joe Tittman.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Tittman. They need trench help. They need trench help. Until they got all 5 spots figured out, they gotta draft guys that they think are talented. So we'll go Tittman here at 50.
Okay, so the Seahawks are on the clock and they're kind of in the same scenario. It just feels like it's been decided for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Whippler here for Seattle. Now, he is a smaller center, but I think they can live with that in this spot. And I think they can get a little bit more athletic in that run game. So Seattle, we get back-to-back centers here, and the top 3 centers are, if you count Avila, the top 4 centers are gone already in the top 51 picks.
Dolphins are up at 52.
They could have used either of the guys that just went off the board.
Yeah, they absolutely could have. I don't think there's anybody else that I'm entertaining here at 52. Cody Mock. Yes. I feel like that's a solid pick for them at 52.
I think you're on it. The athleticism. I'm not as high on Mock as everyone else seems to be, but he's gonna go. He's gonna go in the top 60, I think.
Yeah. I'll go.
And he's a guard. He's not a tackle for me.
But they could use that anyway.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll go Cody Mock. We'll go offensive lineman Cody Mock here. Give the Dolphins a little versatility and some juice there. I know they need corner, but I just don't love any of the corners that are left.
Yeah,
I think if anybody, I'd pick Garrett Williams because I like Garrett Williams.
Yeah,
I think he's getting slept on a little bit here, but even then, I think you might be able to still get a good corner a little bit later, even in the 3rd round. So, Cody Mock here.
Chargers on the clock. I know you don't like the corners. I still think this guy is going to go in the top 60. I'm going to have them take Emmanuel Forbes. I think, man, we don't know after the big money signing and the poor play, but more importantly, the injury, what the situation ultimately is going to be. I'm looking at their depth chart right now. J.C. Jackson obviously got hurt last year, but did not have a good start. They can use a nickel. Bryce Callahan is technically a free agent. Man, I actually might flip this to Clark Phillips. But they're small with Asante Samuel. This is tricky. This is really tricky. I'll go with the length. I'll say Forbes. I think the Chargers are looking at corners. I'll go with Forbes. I know he's skinny, but he's not bad in coverage, and he's got ball skills.
You want to know how many times or how many corners have weighed in smaller than 166 since 1999?
Oh, God. Maybe one other guy? Smaller? Right? Yeah, one.
You know how tall he was? 5'9".
He had to be small.
All right, Emmanuel Forbes. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I still think he's going to go.
It's fine. It's fine. You mean pick. It's fine.
Dude, you took Michael Wilson in the top 40. Let me live.
Paris Johnson, number 9.
He didn't even run well.
Paris Johnson. What do you mean? No. Hold on. Whoa.
What do you mean?
Do not insult. I'm going to find this. You're making me find it. You give me a second.
He ran a 4.58.
Michael Wilson's RAS score was a 9.34. All right. The 5.38, only area that he tested poorly.
Yes. Running. Who cares?
Tested really well in the 10-yard split. Love how he gets off the line of scrimmage. The weight was great. The bench was great. The height was good.
The old bench sneaking into the RAS.
The vertical was in the green, 37.5. The broad was in the green, over 10 feet. The shuttle was good, 4.27.
Fair enough. You took him 40th. I get to take Emmanuel Forbes at 53.
It's fine. Texas took Paris Johnson Jr. at number 9, and then you had them taking Bijan Robinson at 33. I'm up with them again.
The Bears, yes.
What did I say?
I think you said the Texans, which I really lost track of where the draft had gone when you said that.
Okay. Yeah. The Bears.
Folks, this is a long record. Let's just put up with us if you can.
Just 10 more minutes, I promise.
Yeah. We're almost done. We're trying.
Chicago Bears at number 54.
Del's on the board. His name is Nathaniel. There's actually a player, anymore? Trevor, there's a player I adore in this spot for the Bears.
You adore?
Yeah, like I think considering they've not solved anything on defense in this draft right now, and they waited this long, there's a good player that can really help them.
Is it Will McDonald?
No, but that's good thinking as well. This guy's a little bit more complete as a player.
Complete?
Yes, and he will enter.
Who is it? You tell me.
Tuipulotu.
Oh, yeah, Tuipulotu.
Tully's good.
He is really good. And he's heavier because they've got Travis Gibson. They have Dominique Robinson.
Exactly.
All right. We'll go with Tully.
Nice.
We'll make it happen. I think he's definitely getting in the second round, so I like this here.
Yeah, me too.
When will the Will McDonald slide end? When will we learn?
Well, not here, because
when will we learn?
The Lions got Will Anderson and Brian Branch.
And
Jack Campbell. My God.
Goat draft. Goated
like
draft.
My favorite defensive draft of all time.
Goated draft.
Jesus.
And now we're going to wrap it all up with Tanner McKee.
Development behind Jared Goff. No, we're not. That would be funny, though. That would be funny. No, actually. So, despite all those great ads, they still need some beef in the middle of the defense, I think.
They do need beef.
I'm between Ika and Mozzie Smith here.
I can't do Ika anymore, man.
Yeah.
He tested so poorly at 20, 25 less pounds than we thought he was going to.
What happened to him this year? He didn't even put his tape was a step down.
Don't know. I would not consider him. If you're considering him, it's him or Mozzie. Yeah,
it's Mozzie. The athlete's going to go. The athlete is going to go.
Right.
Mozzie Smith. The Lions.
Mozzie Smith, you are.
Am I off for like the Lions not doing any offense now? I don't think so. That wasn't their problem.
O-line solid. We tried to pick running back for them, but we really can't. You're going to bring back Jamal Williams, and then you're not going to draft another running back that highly.
The league loves Luke Musgrave, but I just don't really think the Lions care that much about tight end.
Yeah, the only area that I think I would have done is Musgrave.
All right, so Mozzie Smith.
Jags. We had Keely Ringo. Okay, so we had Ringo. Oh, would they go Musgrave? I know they franchise tagged
Ingram.
Evan Ingram, but like
at least the value makes sense here, right?
Yeah. They just drafted a bunch of linebackers. I'm gonna go Musgrave.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I'm gonna go Musgrave here because then they can have back-to-back Or they could have two tight ends that they absolutely love.
And you're not always drafting in a 1-year window, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
Dan Arnold, Chris Manhurst, those guys are both free agents, so they're going to do something at tight end anyway. So let's go Musgraves. We'll make it happen to the Jags.
Musgrave would have been a no-brainer to the Giants here.
Hate that.
You hate to see it. We are operating that Saquon's back. Otherwise, Gibbs would be the pick. I am going to go. I'm between Laporta and Tucker Kraft. I really like Tucker Kraft.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think nobody cares about him, and I thought he had a.
I think the league likes Tucker Kraft too,
but so do they like Laporta too. I think I'll lean Kraft. Giants get tight end help. It's something they really need. They walk out of this draft. They have Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tucker Kraft. That really helps their pass catching group.
All right. You making it in? You locking it in?
Yeah, I locked it in. Tucker Kraft at 57.
Okay. We didn't pick Bijan Robinson for the Dallas Cowboys at the back end of the first round. We gave them Zay Flowers. They could still use defensive line.
They're going to let Dalton Schultz walk, huh?
Maybe.
That's what it sounded like. I know they took Jake Ferguson last year, but
and they have what is it?
I thought it was Dalton Schultz part
right?
2.
So I mean, they have invested. Derek Hall.
Yeah, that's very fitting for them.
Derek Hall is very fitting, but would they take Derek Hall over Will McDonald? No. I'm gonna go Will McDonald.
Okay. Yeah, this fall for him.
This can't stand.
No.
Can't stand. We can't stand for this. Will McDonald, you are Dallas Cowboy, number 58.
The Bills got DeJuan Jones.
They did.
They could probably even continue to take a corner. They could use another stand-up. They could use a rusher. I'm not taking Andre Carter here.
No, Andre Carter again. We're out.
We're out. We've been out for a while. You know what, Trevor? There's part of me, actually. Man, I'm torn on this one because Poyer's a free agent.
What about Sidney Brown?
A little early for me for Sydney. Little early.
Come on. Man. I'm picking him next if you leave him on the board.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
I like Jordan Battle better.
I don't know I don't know if that's like a threat to you or not, but
no, not in the slightest.
Wow, not in the slightest. Now he's threatening me.
Not in the slightest. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Jordan Battle here.
Oh,
get some reliability on the back end. They care so much about the brains of those safeties, and Battle's played at a really good level for Alabama. That's a tough spot to play for Saban.
Battle is a good safety.
Pro ready.
Yeah, again, I think
not that not that Sidney Brown isn't, to be fair. He's battle tested too.
So Von Bell's a free agent, Jesse Bates a free agent, Eli Apple's a free agent. They drafted Dax Hill. They've got Cam Taylor-Britt. Yeah, we're going Sidney Brown.
Okay.
We're still going Sidney Brown. We're making it happen.
They got Darnell Washington in the first, right?
They did. Yeah, Darnell Washington and Sidney Brown here for the Cincinnati Bengals. There's no offensive lineman or offensive tackle specifically that's still left there that I like. So sorry, Bengals fans.
Panthers is easy. This is Jahmyr Gibbs. Ooh, even if they bring back Foreman, he's just he's different than Foreman.
Yeah. Sniping him from the Eagles, having like an unreal draft class.
Yeah, Panthers still made out really well here. They have Jahmyr Gibbs, Keon White, and of course the trade up for CJ Stroud. That's awesome for them.
Okay, so Eagles got Devon Witherspoon at 10, Adetomiwa Adebawore at 30. Now they're sitting here at 62.
They might need to replace a guard.
Yeah, they.
Isaac Semelo is a free agent,
right?
And those guys always kind of get paid elsewhere.
Yeah, who else is
I know.
Take here.
You already did pass rush for them. Otherwise, you could take your boy Foskey. Hey, hear me out on this. Devon Achane.
What was his official? His official's got to be in there, right?
Should be.
What's his official?
I mean, even whatever it is, the guy's really fast. 4-3-4 was the unofficial. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. Trev. 4-3-2.
Mm.
You love to see it.
That's going to be a dub.
That is absolutely a dub. He had the second quickest 10-yard. Guess who had the quickest 10-yard? Keaton Mitchell. Yeah,
what
man.
was Keaton? What was his 40? Keaton's.
Oh man, 4-3-7.
Wow. So you were close.
I gave you a run.
You did.
I will throw my hands up. I feel like what I sleep on meme versus what you sleep on. Like in the U of it, I sleep on on Keaton Mitchell. Everybody else sleeps on a bed. I am doing a full turn and I am carrying that Keaton Mitchell flag. Did you take A-Chain to the Eagles?
I didn't pick A-Chain yet. I'm debating between Devon A-Chain, Derek Hall, and Drew Sanders.
Man, Drew Sanders fell in this, huh?
Right. TJ Edwards, who is coming off a really good year, who I think they're going to bring back. Kaiser White, both those guys free agents. Of course, they have Nakobe Dean as well. But Drew Sanders has a lot of experience as like an off ball, also as an edge. Brandon Graham's getting up there in age. Josh Sweat had the injury. Robert Quinn's a free agent. They have Hassan Reddick. I think I'm going to pick Drew Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that one.
I think I'm going to go Drew Sanders here for the Eagles 62. A lot of different guys to pick on the board, but I like that versatility. He's somebody who really attacks the trenches.
No, makes sense.
Adebawore is more of the interior defensive line guy, and Drew Sanders can be the edge kind of player for them.
All right, so Drew Sanders comes off the board. The Eagles...
Not a good O-line pick for them to
no. So the Chiefs, in the first round, I took Jordan Addison, assuming they're going to lose some wide receivers to free agency. This gets kind of tricky here, right? Because you probably lean defensive side of the ball. Man, this might be the spot for... This is the spot for me for Derek Hall.
Okay.
Because...
Right. Yeah, I like it a lot.
We saw flashes from Karlaftis last year. Frank Clark's not going to be there forever. He's just not. And
one would think.
Championship teams rotate. Like, I would love to get a D tackle here. There's no one. You made a great point. Ika has completely nuked this process.
It's not
like I'll throw my hands up. I love the guy over the summer. I still had him sneaking right into my top 50 because I still believed in 2021. Didn't go to the Senior Bowl. Absolute bombing of the combine. It's gonna be hard to sell that one.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yep.
So I will. The other thought here was, but they picked Duffy last year, so I'm not gonna go small corner again. Clark Phillips. So I'll go Derek Hall. I think he's kind of too good to make it into the third round.
I'm hella sad we didn't get Clark Phillips in here.
But I also think we're right, by the way. I think he's going. I don't think he's going in the first 2 rounds now.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't mean he's not a good player. He really is.
All right, there it is. 2 rounds in the books. I'll recap round 1, Connor, if you want to recap round 2. I feel like that's probably just the easiest way to do it. We have the Houston Texans moving up to number 1 overall. We have them taking Bryce Young. Panthers moving up to number 2 overall, taking CJ Stroud. Tyree Wilson going to the Arizona Cardinals at 3. Anthony Richardson to the Colts at 4. Jalen Carter to the Seattle Seahawks at 5. Will Anderson to the Lions at 6. Will Levis to the Raiders at 7. Christian Gonzalez, Falcons at 8. Paris Johnson Jr., Chicago Bears at number 9 after 2 trade backs from them. Hell of a haul. Devon Witherspoon at 10 to the Eagles. Peter Skoronski at number 11 to the Titans. Quentin Johnston to the Texans at 12. Broderick Jones, 13 to the Jets. Joey Porter Jr., 14 to the Patriots. Lucas Van Ness, 15 to the Packers. Washington Commanders, Deontay Banks at number 16. Steelers, Darnell Wright at 17. Brian Branch to the Lions at 18. Nolan Smith to the Bucks at 19. Dalton Kincaid, Seahawks at 20. Forfeited pick from the Miami Dolphins, which means technically at number 21. Chargers took Jalen Hyatt. Cam Smith, the corner for South Carolina, to the Baltimore Ravens at 22. Miles Murphy to the Vikings at 23. Keely Ringo to the Jags at 24. Jackson Smith and Jigba 25 to the Giants. Zay Flowers 26 to the Cowboys. DeJuan Jones to the Bills at 27. Darnell Washington 28 to the Bengals. Elijah Cansey going 29 to the Saints out of Tamiwa Adebawore to the Eagles at 30. And then to round out the first round, Jordan Addison went to the Kansas City Chiefs at number 31.
All right, round 2 kicks off with the Steelers because of the Chase Claypool trade. They took Brian Brzee, the D-line from Clemson. The Bears, with all the trades we had, them making this mock pick at 33. They get Bijan Robinson, the surprise fall of day 1. They get him at the top of round 2. Pick 34 is the Cardinals. They continue to repair this offensive line. That could be an entirely different unit besides DJ Humphries. They get Osiris Torrance to play guard. The Colts look to improve on the interior with Steve Avila from TCU. He can play guard and center. The Rams take Anton Harrison at tackle. The Seahawks at 37 take Josh Downs to play in the slot. At pick 38, the Raiders get corner help with Tyreek Stevenson. At pick 39, the Panthers get a versatile edge defender in Keon White. At pick 40, the Saints, thanks to Trevor, take Michael Wilson. At pick 41, thanks to me, the Titans take BJ Ojulari for their edge pass rush. At pick 42, the Browns did not take Tank Dell. They took Keanu Benton for the interior of their defensive line. Pick 43, the Jets get size and physicality and safety Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M. Pick 44, the Falcons continue to tap into the edge market. They get Felix Anudike Uzama from Kansas State. Pick 45, the Packers get Michael Mayer, the do-it-all tight end from Notre Dame. Pick 46, the Patriots get offensive line help in Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse. Pick 47, the Commanders take center / maybe guard John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota. Pick 48, the Lions get Dan Campbell's alternate son, Jack Campbell, the linebacker from Iowa. Pick 49, linebacker again. The Steelers get Trenton Simpson from Clemson. Pick 50, the Bucs take center Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin. Pick 51, center again. The Seahawks get Luke Whippler from Ohio State. The Dolphins continue the offensive line run with Cody Mauch from North Dakota State. Pick 53, the Chargers get Emmanuel Forbes, slim corner from Mississippi State. At pick 54, the Bears take Tuli Pelotu, the edge, kind of line really anywhere. He's a big edge from USC. Pick 55, the Lions get Mazi Smith, the hulking D tackle from Michigan. Pick 56, the Jags capitalize on value at tight end. Luke Musgrave falls to them. Pick 57, the Giants continue the tight end run with Tucker Kraft. Pick 58, the Cowboys get edge pass rush help in Will McDonald. Pick 59, the Bills get a new starting safety in Jordan Battle from Alabama. Pick 60, the Bengals get safety help in Sidney Brown from Illinois. Pick 61, the Panthers get Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama. Pick 62, the Eagles take Drew Sanders from Arkansas. Finally, pick 63, the Chiefs take edge defender Derek Hall from Auburn.
There it is, folks. Let us know what you think. If you were watching this bad boy on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. And let us know what you thought of your favorite team's picks or any of the picks. Just any of the crazy picks, the ones that you liked, the ones that you didn't like. Let us know in the YouTube comments. It's the best way to start a lot of good conversations. We hope that we hear so many of them from you because there were just so many different picks. There was obviously a lot of back and forth between Connor and I. Let us know what you thought about where the quarterbacks landed, the trades that we did, the second round for the first time here on this show. We want to hear it all. If you're not watching this bad boy on YouTube and you're an audio only, hit us up on Twitter at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers. You can do the same thing on Instagram as well. We will be back with you with a new episode a little bit later this week. The new episodes are going to come out, I believe, Thursday and Friday this week. Give us a little extra time and give you guys a little bit of extra time to digest this whole mock draft. But we're going to recap what we saw from the Combine. The Combine is going to be entirely wrapped up by then. We'll recap what we did for the Combine draft, had a little bit of bragging rights, and then, of course, move on to our, a little bit of free agency preview, what we think is going to happen, how it's going to affect the draft. Plus, we're going to get back into positional rankings. We're going to get into some of the positions that we haven't finished yet, but also start to get into those final rankings as well, so we can put together those final rankings, those final big boards, all that good stuff. Connor, anything else before we get out of here?
No, this was a beast, but I'm glad we did it.
It
will live in a lot of different formats on the channel, so everybody can catch up on it, and we will be back later in the week. If you, I guess it's a little late to say this, but if you don't have to burn this whole podcast in one listen if you want to stretch it through Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, we're giving you a little time.
But you probably, it's probably a little late to give that advice. We will be back probably Thursday, I would say. We'll have a new episode on the feed.
I'm Trevor Sikkema. That is Connor Rogers. Thank you guys so much for listening to the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. We'll see you next time.